Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we have a four-game NBA slate that starts at 7 o'clock. We actually don't have very many injuries today, so that's nice. And we have some guys out, but we don't have any questionable tags at this point. Uh, Before I get started, though, can you guys smash that like and subscribe button? It really helps the channel a lot. For the Magic, Suggs and Isaac are out. For the Nets, Simmons are out. For the Hornets, Ball and Mark Williams is out. For the Pelicans, Zion and Alvarado are out. For the Thunder, Pokusevski and Kendrick Williams are out. And for the Clippers, Paul George and Powell are out. My team picks here are the Knicks over the Magic, Cleveland over Brooklyn, the Pelicans over the Hornets, and the Thunder over the Clippers. So with that said, let's get into my core plays today. I think we have some really good options, top to bottom price ranges. We're going to start with Kawhi Leonard here. Now, he has some nice upside in this matchup with Paul George out. He should get more usage as a result, and he's been playing pretty good lately, despite the fact that he hasn't really reached his fantasy potential all that much, but that's mostly because he's got multiple guys on this team that score. So when anybody's out, then he's definitely going to have some more usage and upside in this kind of matchup. Though his price is somewhat up, so that is a little bit of a concern. It does seem like the Clippers got their price risen before due to that Paul George sitting out. So we'll have to wait and see about any other potential injuries there as well. As for Russell Westbrook, I really like him a lot as well. The rule with him since he's joined the Clippers is when Paul George or Kawhi Leonard is out, then he becomes a pretty good fantasy play. The only downside with him, again, just like Kawhi Leonard is that their prices have popped up as a result of that Paul George injury, so that's a little bit annoying. But they still have utility on the slate as good options. They aren't great options, though. They aren't must-plays by any stretch. Then we're going to look at Darius Garland, whose price has come down quite a bit, which is nice here. He's had a couple of floor games lately, but they were against tougher opponents. He's got a pretty good game here against Brooklyn, who he had 27 fantasy points against the other day. But I expect him to have a better game this time. His ceiling is very high for the price, and so he definitely makes him an interesting play here. He's been in the 40s and 50s a lot lately, and it's really just a matter of him having a big game, which I think he is capable of doing in this situation. Then we're going to look at Jarrett Allen for Cleveland as well. Another guy that's price has come way down due to a couple off games a couple weeks ago, but he's been good against Brooklyn, and he had a good game 2 days ago where he had a double-double and 36 fantasy points, and his price is just too cheap here. I mean, yeah, this is a slower down game, much like Garland is a little bit of a risk, but I think their prices are low enough that it makes them valuable on the slate. And Allen obviously has double-double potential as well, so that makes him get some more upside. Then we're going to look at Cole Anthony for Orlando. He looks like he's in a really good spot here. He's had 5x in 6 straight games. He's got a good matchup against the Knicks. And he does have a low floor, but he's playing really well right now. And as long as he's playing well and his price stays under 6K, he's definitely somebody to consider because he does have a good ceiling. Then we're going to look at a couple of centers. We're going to look at Nick Richards at $5,000. He has played extremely well, but inconsistent as the starter for the Hornets. But he had foul trouble against Philadelphia. But he's got an easy opponent here against the Pelicans, who really don't have a big guy that's going to slow him down too much. Obviously, Valanciunas is a good center, but he's not great defensively this season. And I look for Nick to have a good game in this one. As you can see, he had 2 off games against Philly and Cleveland, who do have good defensive centers, but he's going to be back in a situation where he will be able to do well. He even had 14 fantasy points against the Pelicans last time he played them, and he didn't even start. So he's got some good upside here. He's had some really big games in the mid-40s in fantasy perspective. I don't think he'll get 40 fantasy points, but I think he can get in the mid-30s in this matchup. As for Mitchell Robinson, he's my last pick here. He looks like he's in a really solid spot against Orlando. He has been a little bit inconsistent, but his price is cheap enough that he has good upside, a good potential here because of his upside, because he does have 30 fantasy point upside, and he's been playing pretty well in the 25 to 30 minutes he gets most days. He's just had a couple of games that have been a little inconsistent, but for the most part, he pays off, and this is a type of situation where I like him quite a bit. So, with that said, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, have a nice day, guys.